Hey.
Did she turn the mic on? Are you gonna move around, or are you gonna do it together? Okay. I'm closer to the What time did they finish?
But should be whatever food we have.
Thank you very much.
And it stimulates people.
Introduced myself a few years ago, Ron, so we were there for dinner once.
Michael McDonald.
It's quite obvious to see that they're very similar. You don't want the markets here.
I think as an alum, as a professor, and now as a board member, she's certainly fulfilled every life. Yes. Flora Macdonald, we just had a for this morning. There are several chairs, and we'd like you to be comfortable.
I'd like to welcome you formally to Mount St. Vincent University on this very special occasion when we are going to launch our capital campaign. My name is Naomi Herson. I am President and Vice Chancellor of the Mount, and I'm celebrating my 3rd anniversary year of being here at the Mount. I needn't say that I'm doing so in a rather unusual manner this morning, and you are all sharing in that with us. However, the important thing is that we have together with us today a number of very, very special volunteers, board members, and students who are helping us with this campaign. And I want to emphasize how much it means to have friends of the university who will volunteer their time and help us to do the very best we can for our students and, may I say, for our faculty. I'm going to introduce our guests to you. At the table with me we have the Honorable Flora Macdonald. Dr. Macdonald is an alumna of sorts from the Mount, an honorary alumna, and more of that later. And beside her, the chair of our board, Dale Godsoe. I mentioned that we have important volunteers who are assisting us, and I'd like to take a moment to pay tribute to Dale Godsoe as the chair of our board, who gives an inordinate amount of time to the business of the university in order to help us to run this university properly. And I would like now to call on Dale, who will be introducing our honorary guest.
Friends of Mount St. Vincent, I didn't expect to have to speak over the background music, but it sounds like my classes on Friday afternoon when I used to teach school. You mentioned as Flora as an honorary guest. Anyone who sat around the table with her this morning and 2 weeks ago in Toronto as we went through prospect review and divvied up cards of corporations and decided who would ask whom for what amount of money knows that there's nothing honorary about the Honorable Flora Macdonald and Mount St. Vincent's campaign. I'm very excited to be standing here introducing a woman who has been a trailblazer for women and for ordinary Canadians throughout her career. You're all familiar with Flora Macdonald's career. She's one of the few people in Canada that you can walk through, as I did a couple of weeks ago, a crowded mall, following her because it was so crowded you can't walk side by side, and watch the people thinking, I know this person, and then the double take as they realized it was Flora. And being in her apartment when the delivery boy came out and said, I thought I recognized that voice. So double exposure doesn't do it as well as she does, but certainly she is recognizable right across Canada. Mount St. Vincent has many firsts. The first women's university in Canada, a unique women's university. Flora Macdonald also has many firsts. This June, Flora will be receiving another honorary degree, which I think you would all like to know about, from York University. But Mount St. Vincent gave Flora her first honorary degree in 1979. So I feel that, in a way, we recognized her potential, the potential of the woman who went on to become, I think, definitely the Commonwealth, and probably the world's first foreign secretary. So Flora told me some stories on the way out about how it is to be the first woman to go abroad and to represent your country. They put you in another room. They don't know how to deal with you. Needless to say, she did not allow herself to be put in the other room. And that has been the way her career has progressed. In each of her posts, her common sense, her commitment to getting things done has been demonstrated. Whether it has been difficult broadcast bills when she was Minister of Communications, whether it has been Canada Job Strategies programs when she was Employment and Immigration. In each of these instances, things get done because Flora's at the helm. And I, as a volunteer in the YWCA community, have been aware of that through the many programs that have been supported by Employment and Immigration Canada under her as Minister. Flora has taken on a big task for us, but it is one of many tasks that she has undertaken this year. She is chair of the National Ballet School of Canada. She is on the Urban Institute in Washington looking at urban problems and in particular immigration problems throughout the world. She is on, currently, you may have noticed the announcement on the board of Canada Trust. And as recently as a week ago, Monday, she was honored by Hadassah for her contribution to Canada and to Canadian women. So Mount St. Vincent, among many other Canadians and international people, have been recognizing Flora Macdonald. And I know that the spirit of getting it done, which she demonstrates every time I meet her, will enable her to take our campaign, Learning and Leading, and make it the campaign for Mount St. Vincent. Flora Macdonald.
Thank you very much indeed, Madam Chair, Madam President, ladies and gentlemen. It's always a pleasure to come back to Nova Scotia, and I always get a warm welcome. And this is no exception. I particularly enjoy coming here to the Mount, and it's true, as has been mentioned, the first honorary degree I ever received was given to me by the Mount, and I cherish it deeply. My ties with the Mount have been developed over many years, but there have been some exciting moments, and a number of them connected with the responsibilities that I held as a minister in various posts, particularly, I think, in employment and immigration, when we were working together on re-entry programs for women, on communications programs, and so on, all of which have been so tremendously developed here at the Mount. And so when I was approached some time ago to become involved in this campaign, initially I could not do so, because I knew as a minister of the Crown it would be a conflict of interest, and therefore I had to refuse. So you see, there's some real benefits out of being defeated. It was a different ballgame after the election. And so I'm very pleased to be associated with this major campaign of capital fundraising, which will carry the Mount to new vistas and new dimensions. Today, Mount St. Vincent is beginning an exciting new stage in its proud history. After many months of careful consideration, the Mount's Board of Governors has planned a number of bold initiatives in teaching, research, construction, and renovation. To achieve its goal, the Mount is launching Learning and Leading, a capital fundraising campaign that will serve the university's ability to carry its fine traditions well into the 21st century. For generations, women have been coming to Mount St. Vincent in search of knowledge and support for their ambitions. Today, the Mount is widely recognized for its leadership in advancing professional development for women and its research in issues relating to the status of women. The Mount is proud of its many achievements, spanning more than 100 years of dedicated service and commitment. Today, the Mount is building the foundations for another century of accomplishment and distinction. Increasing enrollment and the expected scope of teaching, research, and community involvement dictates the needs for greater financial resources than the students and governments and other traditional sources can provide. In response, the Board of Governors and the National Campaign Committee is launching Learning and Leading, a capital fundraising campaign with an $8 million minimum goal and a $10 million challenge goal. The campaign has 5 main objectives. First, to establish the Jean Sauvé Chair for Women in Science and create a Women in Science Research Center. Second, to complete and equip the Margaret Fulton Communications Center, which will provide a new library, facilities for distance education, and a campus computer center. Third, to renovate existing buildings to improve laboratory, teaching, and office space. 4, to establish a library acquisitions fund that will provide for the ongoing renewal of collections and create a campus-wide computer network that will enable students and faculty and staff to exchange data on campus, throughout the region, and indeed across the country. And 5, the Mount has identified a number of important academic initiatives, including increased support for women's studies, gerontology research, scholarships, and improved athletic facilities. We are confident that our goal will be met through support from corporations, foundations, government, the Mount family, and friends. And to date, I'm pleased to report that $1.454 million, that's almost $1.5 million, an easier way to say it, if you round it out, $1.5 million has been raised during the early months of planning. And so I'd like to thank the provincial government for their challenge grant, Nancy Jackman for her most generous gift to endow the chair for women's studies, the Windsor Foundation, and Maritime Tell and Tell, along with many others whose interest and financial support exemplify a commitment to the Mount, to higher education, to women, and to Atlantic Canada. And as national chair, I ask all of you to join me in supporting the Mount's campaign goal, the $8 million minimum goal, the $10 million challenge goal, the Learning and Leading campaign. Thank you.
Now we would like to offer you an opportunity to ask questions and to interact with Dr. Macdonald or with either Dale or myself. We are going to be here and available to chat a bit, and perhaps some of you will want to pick up something to eat and drink. So let's just for a few moments, however, find out if some of you would like to ask more formal questions in this setting, and then perhaps we can break just to chat a little less formally. We have decided, because of the obvious activity outside, that it's perhaps better not to try and make the trip down to the building under these circumstances, and so we will be remaining in this room until Dr. Macdonald has to go downtown for other appointments. So may I invite you, if you wish, to address your questions to Dr. Macdonald or to Dale or to me. I don't see anybody with a prepared question.
And I do miss question period.
We'll have to do what they do in New Brunswick.
That's right. Well, in that case, then may I suggest that some of you chat a little less formally with us, and may I invite each of you to serve yourselves. There's coffee and some refreshment in the room, and we can just move around and chat.
That was fine.
Probably could be an opportunity if you've got some doubts about this to just when everyone goes to shoot parts of it again.
No, I don't. I mean, they'd rather have the campaign, or I wasn't involved, or no, obviously every group of employees anyway has to work out whatever their contracts are with their employees. I don't have to be involved in that aspect at all. I do think that it's important.
I'm not sure of their identity. Most of those people.
I understand why you went to send her, except that she was going to be. Well, they went off
Zoom in, zoom out. Save a lot of money.
Yes, just hold it, please.
I've seen her pictures.
We should chat or at least talk about chatting for a minute.
But I knew she was
I know.
Did you enjoy your weekend or? Yes, I did.
Are you there? I don't know where all these. No, the 6th might be.
All set for another 5 hours today? Tremendous talent, I thought. Whatever her name is, yes. They were, yeah. Yeah, it's a great church to